everybody? Devil's Advocate here. Today, I want to touch a little bit on a question I saw tossed around on Facebook and Twitter, and it was about the doubts on why big tech is censoring the stories about Hunter and Joe Biden. A lot of people think it doesn't make any sense, right? A lot of people think it's a Russian conspiracy smear campaign or whatever the case may be. They're like, well, doesn't make any sense, because people, big tech, Silicon Valley, don't they like Donald Trump? Wouldn't they want Donald Trump to be in office? And I'm gonna go ahead and entertain that line of questioning, but I do want to toss out there that up until this point, I think it's been pretty easy to see that Twitter and Facebook and YouTube have been leaning to the left real hard on the kind of crap that they will allow to circulate on their platform versus what they censor coming from the conservative side of the aisle. I don't think anybody can argue that if you're being objective. I don't think anybody. I'll tell you how bad it's gotten. I'll give you an example. I'll tell you how bad it's gotten. I've had to go on, I'm not going to specify which ones, but I've had to go on alternative search engines to get real stories because Google censors so much information. And I can't get it from Google. I have to get it from alternative sources because Google suppresses it. And if it's floating around in their search engine somewhere, it's so far deep down there that you're going to spend a long time looking for it. It's not going to come up easy. But most of it's just flat out just blocked and unsearchable. But anyways, let's get back to why I believe. I don't even think it's something I believe. I think it's a very easy concept to understand once I explain it. Why big tech companies would prefer Joe Biden versus Donald Trump. I think a lot of people are assessing Donald Trump based on him being a businessman before becoming a politician. But what you have to understand is that what he does now is in contrast to what he used to do as a businessman. Let me explain. A lot of the things that he does currently that's in the benefit of the American people is not in the best interest of those large corporations. They hate it. He says it all the time. Those companies are not happy with him. Prime example, an easy concept to understand is that jobs that he keeps trying to bring, and he is bringing, and he keeps to continue to try to bring back to U.S. soil from overseas. Large corporations don't like that. Because when those jobs come from overseas back to the United States, those companies are going to have to pay those employees more money to do the same job. And they can't necessarily offset that they can't offset that difference in wage by jacking up the price of their product. Because if they jack up the price of their product, there's a good chance that people might not buy that product because it's become too expensive. Because people have gotten used to how much whatever it is that they sell costs. So if the jobs just come flooding back into America, they can't just go off the cuff and say, all right, well, we're just gonna have to raise the cost of our product to offset this loss. They can't do that because now they run the risk of people not buying their product anymore. So more often than not, that company's just going to have to eat that loss. They're going to have to eat that cut into their bottom line, that cut into their profit margin. They're not going to like that. Now, granted, there might be some tax incentives and all other kind of stuff, but bottom line, long story short, they make a much larger profit margin shipping their jobs overseas than bringing them back here to the United States. That's what Donald Trump's doing. He's trying to bring the jobs back to the U.S. soil. Big companies don't like that. Think about it. If you were a company owner, right? If you were a business owner and you knew that you could make a lot more money by shipping your job over to China and having Chinese workers, Nike, Chinese slaves doing your bidding at a fraction of the cost that it would cost to do it here in the United States, you might find yourself in that position of doing the same thing. But that's the case. So out of the 5 biggest contributors to Joe Biden's campaign, Microsoft, Google, and Amazon are 3 of the top 5 contributors to their campaign because they want Joe Biden in office. Because those 3 companies are strongly looking at global domination. They want to be a worldwide infrastructure. And they can't do that if they got a president sitting in office trying to force them to keep most of their jobs here in the United States, especially Google and Microsoft. Their intentions have been known for a long time. Google especially, Google has gone out and said what their plans are. They want to be worldwide domination. I'm not going to go too far in my conspiracy theory on that, but I wanted to just kind of tie up any misunderstandings on why maybe big tech is pulling their strings. Now, there are other reasons on top of that, because there are people that were ex-employees of Facebook, ex-employees of Amazon that work for the Biden campaign now. These people have been cross-pollinating. Big tech and Biden's campaign, or I would just say the DNC, big tech and the DNC, they've been cross-pollinating. The people that were working in those tech sectors are now working in politics and vice versa. You can look all this stuff up. So, of course, one hand is washing the other. Because overall, even though the DNC might be doing it for their reason, and big tech might be doing it for their reason, the ultimate goal, the mission is still the same. To open up the borders so that we can cross-pollinate with the rest of the world. But you have to ask yourself as an American citizen, is that what you want? Now think about this. Take the time to think about this question for a second. The policy or policies that have been put on the table are pretty transparent. The sitting president says that he wants to keep bringing jobs from overseas back to American soil. Now, whether the companies like it or not, if he forces that hand, they're going to have to comply. One way or another, he will win. Donald Trump will get what he wants because he always gets what he wants. So they'll play ball one way or another. So there'll be more American jobs in American soil. And of course, he's going to compromise, which is why he keeps the tax rate where it is, to give those businesses incentives to stay here in America. That's better for you. More job opportunity, lower taxes. All right? And on the flip side of the script, you got another entity they've already gone over. You already know what they're going to do. Every job that the sitting president has worked to get back in America is going to go right back overseas again. And your taxes are going to go up. So your employment opportunity reduces and your taxes are guaranteed to go up. And it was like, there were people like, well, there's no guarantee that your taxes are going to go up. Yes, there is. They've already put the plan out there. All you got to do is pay attention to something other than mainstream media. And the Biden campaign is absolutely guaranteed that your taxes are going to go up. Let me explain it for you. This is not what this video was initially about, but this is important. So it was just released that under the Biden campaign, under the Biden policy, if they were to take office, people that live in California, residents of California that made over $400,000 a year, were going to be taxed at a 62% rate. So let's do a little bit of simple math for what that looks like. That looks like you make $1 million. And then California says, we'll let you keep 38% of that. Not even half of it. They're taking half your money. They're taking over half your money. Imagine being somebody who works their ass off, grinding, to make it to a place where you thought you were actually getting to an attainable or achievable position in life where you're taking advantage of that American dream, right? You're getting financially secure. You could buy that nice house. You could drive that nice car. You're getting there. You're getting there. You see it. And then people come into power that say, let me get that. Let me get half that. You know what? As a matter of fact, don't let me get half that. Let me get more than half that. Let me get 62% of that. You can keep 38. You keep 38%. Was it New York? New York is 60% tax rate? And then what happens? What happens to the people that make that kind of money and they say, screw this? There's no way. I'm leaving. Boop. They're going to go migrate to a place where if they're going to have to pay those astronomical taxes, they're going to at least move to a place where the state taxes are not as crazy. So then what happens to the other people that live in California and New York and these other crazy ass states? That shit has to roll downhill somewhere, doesn't it? And that's where the middle class comes in. You're going to eat that. Because the rich people who can afford to move and say, I'm not doing this, they will leave. They might pay their high taxes, but they're going to pay those high taxes somewhere else where they can save some money. And the common folk who can't they don't have the luxury of just picking up and leaving, they're going to get stuck footing the bill. And the people that are poor, who aren't really, I'm not going to say they're not all not motivated. I'm not going to throw that out there. But the people who are poor, they don't have to foot the bill. The rich aren't going to foot the bill. They'll leave. The poor can't foot the bill. They don't have the money. So the middle class, the average person, the average Joe, you and me, you and I, would get stuck footing that bill. Just think about it. Just think about it. It's something to think about. But that's what you're looking at. Big tech wants Biden in office because Biden in office opens up our borders so they can ship all that stuff overseas. And the likelihood of them being regulated when they do any of this stuff is very low. Probably very low oversight, and they'll probably get away with whatever the hell it is that they want to do. But that's my video. I just wanted to throw that out there. I hope you got something out of it. If you did, please feel free to like, share, subscribe. And with that all out of the way, take care of yourself. And until next time, peace.